everyone, welcome to Left Undone. Let me know if you can't hear me because often I start out not being heard. So hi everybody, welcome up to a Saturday live stream, Left Undone Incomplete Investigations. I see two of my mods in the chat and I'm sure everybody else can roll in. I'm not sure how many people want to watch this particular episode because my channel tends to gather the Lori Vallow Daybell people, and then the people that really follow that case don't tend to follow the other things I follow, which I think is a shame because there's a lot of important stories out there and people's stories to tell. And one thing that disappoints me a little bit about the whole YouTube true crime community is everybody goes on the same bandwagon and over and over and over talks about the same cases. And there's so many cases out there that need to be addressed and brought attention to. I am glad we were able to bring attention a couple weeks ago to the James Lebowski. His great uncle posted in the comments, and he's still missing. So, but now I notice like Nancy Grace and some other people have also posted, and People Magazine put a missing person thing up. So sometimes if you bring a little attention, other people do take on to it as well. I did. So today, and if you're watching the replay, welcome. I'm glad you are here. I miss you in the live stream, but we do appreciate you very much being here and watching the replay. And don't forget to hit the like button because that helps get this video suggested in YouTube to other people that maybe haven't discovered my channel or what we do here. So oftentimes the videos I know on YouTube, I've been studying up on it a little bit because I have my travel channel. Oftentimes they will only show it to people that have already been in your channel, have already watched you before. So it's really a weird algorithm that they have. And so you can help. That's one way you can help. I know not everybody can give donations or become members, but there are ways to help. You can watch the ads and you can also share videos. That all helps so much. You have no idea how much it helps to keep the channel going. So hi Katie and PLM and Lori Day and Carrie, Angel Hugs. Hello Christian. Hey. And who did I miss? Nightbot. Welcome Nightbot. And Bumakit. You haven't heard of this case. I know it's really an interesting case. I actually think I found it first on TikTok. The Robbie, what's his name? Oh my God, I'm so bad. The Robbie Harvey is a YouTube channel, and he also has TikTok, and he actually was the one that brought attention to this. Apparently he, from what I gather, was one of these kind of men at one point, and he sort of wants to bring attention and show how horrible this kind of relationship narcissism can be and what goes on out there. And so he brought this case, and it's tragic. It really is. Now there's two sides to every story. We know that. We know that there's a side to the wife and there's a side to the husband in all nasty divorces. And, you know, whoever side, you could pick a side and they would probably convince you that their side was correct, right? Yes. This is a doozy. And one of the reasons why it's a doozy is because it needs attention, not just because of the couple, not just because of Catherine, but because of the family court system. It completely can be very unjust, which is really sad and scary. You are a nice narcissist, abuse survivor. See, yeah, there's a lot of them, us. So I am going to go ahead and start talking about Catherine. If anybody comes in, please update them. Mods, do your thing in the chat. And everybody, thank you so much for being here. So Catherine, I'm going to just show you a picture of her first before we get started. This is probably an older picture just because she has a newborn baby in her lap. And this is her. She has a newborn baby in her lap here. She is Catherine Kassenoff. And she's no longer alive. And it's just really tragic how her life ended and the lack of support she had from the court system. Catherine was an attorney, pretty successful, I would say. And she was in a terrible marriage. And as they were breaking up, it got ugly. And the kids became pawns in the divorce. And they were both very well-known attorneys, her and her husband, with a lot of power. Especially her husband seemed to have a lot of power. Let me see what you said here, Katie. Narcissism is very complicated, and it wasn't until I found a therapist who actually is familiar with it was I able to heal. Right? Yeah. It's so tricky. It tricks your brain. Many therapists and judges aren't familiar with narcissism and narc abuse. Very true. Very true. So let me take her off, and then we can talk about her a little bit in the background. So her husband, Alan Kassenoff, I'm going to just show you the beginning of the clip. Yes, please. It might be triggering. Thank you for saying that. Just if it does, take a breath, step out. You can come back and watch the replay if you want to. I've been through that too. And I'm okay watching this, but I think it's, everybody has a different story. So I'm going to show you a clip of the Robbie Harvey, just the beginning of what drew my attention to this case. And then there is a link. I did put a link in the show description, I think, either in here or on the community page, where you can watch his whole thing. But I'm going to show you the beginning of it. So let me get to that real quick. Okay. Now what happened here? Why does it look pink? Hold on, I got to do this again. I clicked something and my screen turned pink. Okay. So let's share this, and then we'll talk about it, okay? I'm just going to show the beginning.
I hate you, Catherine. I hate you. I regret every minute of my life the fact that I met you.
This is quite possibly one of the most heartbreaking videos that I have ever created. And it does not have a happy ending. And with that, I give an extreme trigger warning.
Hate you, and I'll be filing for divorce as soon as I possibly can.
And this video is Alan Kassenoff. It may be pronounced Kassenoff, but I could not confirm that. In bed is his wife, Catherine. She had just had surgery from breast cancer a couple of days prior. Take a listen.
Take your daughter.
I'm not taking her. I'm not taking her. She's spoiled, and I'm not taking her. She will be punished by not going today.
You're her parent,
I'm not
and you
taking
need
her.
to take her to school.
No, I'm not.
I cannot do it. I'm
then
in
she
bed.
won't go.
I'm lying in bed. I can't
Then
do it.
get
I
her
can't
out of
drive.
bed.
You take her to school, please.
Get her out of bed, and I'll take
Stop
her.
talking in that
Get her out of
horrible way to her.
Get her out of bed.
No.
She's spoiled. And I'm not dealing with her anymore. I will no longer take her to activities over the weekend. I will no longer do nice things for her. She will be treated the way everyone else gets treated.
And you need.
Despite her multiple battles with cancer, the abuse continues. And it all happens right in front of their children.
Yeah, they will come. They will come.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Take your daughter. Go in there and say you're sorry. Say you're sorry.
No! No!
Say you're sorry.
No!
Stop it!
Just
Shut up, Allie!
do not talk to Allie like that.
He left.
Recently, Catherine was diagnosed with more cancer. This time, it was terminal. But that doesn't stop Alan.
let's try to calm him down. Alan, I have to go to my doctor now.
I'm leaving.
I need to
What,
go
you
to
don't.
my
I don't
doctor.
care. That's what you don't understand. I
You
don't
need to
care.
calm down.
I'm leaving. I am leaving.
Bye.
I'm not dealing with these kids anymore. That's what you don't get.
You're not dealing with these kids anymore? They're your children. I have violin practice to do with Charlotte.
I don't care, you fat loser.
What'd you call me?
A fat loser.
One more time.
A
Okay.
fat, old loser who I hate.
Say it again. Keep going.
Despite this evidence, Alan had Catherine arrested in 2022. Catherine fought the false allegations, and the courts believed her. And they dropped everything that she was charged with.
Okay, so you get that. You get the gist of this, and it's just sad. It's just really sad. So let's go back a little bit and explain. Catherine is dead. She was confirmed, and this is all alleged Alan's abuse, right? So just so that we put that out there. So July 13th, 2023, her death was confirmed by the U.S. consulate via the U.S. State Department report of deaths abroad. She left and went to Switzerland, I believe, and did the legal assisted suicide. So she was born in 1969, so she wasn't very old this year. This all happened just this year, just months ago. And she was born in Halifax, Canada. Her mom's British and her father's Egyptian. She was a Coptic Christian, and she grew up in Wheeling, West Virginia. And her dad was an oncologist. In 1996, she was an attorney. 1996 on, she became an attorney, and she was an attorney at the U.S. Attorney Office. I'm sorry, my new glasses haven't come in, and my eyes I'm so mad. It's been like 6 weeks. I called and was a Karen the other day about where the heck are my new glasses. So excuse me if I'm stumbling. I blame the glasses, and these earpods are falling out too. My ears got smaller or something, or bigger. So in 1996 on, she was a smart, tenacious attorney in New York City. Her job history included being an assistant U.S. attorney in the U.S. Attorney's New York City office, senior counsel position for Citigroup, which is the holding company for Citibank. In 2006, she was 37 and she married Alan. In 2008, she got breast cancer and fought it for the first time in 2008. In 2010, she filed for divorce for the first time. So clearly they had issues from the beginning. And Alan apparently had an affair, allegedly, with one of their nannies in 2010. And Catherine was actually pregnant at that time with their second daughter. I did read on the GoFundMe. She has a friend that's trying to raise money on the GoFundMe for her daughters to leave them some kind of an inheritance. But she said that the first daughter was actually adopted, and then apparently she got pregnant with the next two. So super exciting stuff. Apparently maybe she couldn't get pregnant, or maybe didn't because of the cancer initially. But the first one was adopted, then she had two babies. In 2010 to 2016, she wound up having 3 children by that time. Their third daughter was born in 2014, and she decided to become a stay-at-home mom and stay home with the kids. And she did some part-time work as an attorney at that time. And her marriage was a hot mess, totally deteriorating. In 2017, she got diagnosed with breast cancer a second time. And Alan was no help to her. As you can see in that video, one of the videos, she says, I'm in bed. He was no help to her. He worked long hours. He didn't help with the kids. When she was going through chemotherapy, that's when she filmed him yelling at her, calling her fat and lazy. They did separate. And at first, the courts gave Catherine and Alan bi-weekly joint custody. In 2019, the court experts are hired, and Alan pays 80%. Catherine paid 20% of the fees. Catherine started liquidating her assets, including her retirement money. And Catherine doesn't know at this point that the people that Alan are working with are all in cahoots. The forensic custody evaluator, the children's attorney, the children's therapist, Alan's attorney, and 2 of the judges have multiple connections and friendships. So they were clearly, it was them against her from when you read and get more information about this. She was just, it was just a freaking uphill mountain battle for her. Catherine left a Dropbox. That's how we get a lot of this information. You know, a Dropbox, where a Google Dropbox, where she left a link. She has an executor, and she put all this information out there, all these documentations and her videos and everything into this Dropbox, and for the world to see. So somebody would tell her story, and that's what we're doing. It documented a history of support for each other in court. Let me see what this link is here that we have. It's something we want to talk about. Open. So they were saying that Catherine was mentally ill. They were trying to say she was mentally ill, but her doctors and stuff, there was no real diagnosis, like what kind of mental illness. And so they refuted it. So there's just like this fight between people and their people and their people. And Alan had people. So this one is a lawyer friend rebuts Catherine's Kassenoff not mentally ill. Gus lied. So family law attorney Konstantin Gus Demopoulos represents Alan Kassenoff in his divorce and custody case against Catherine Kassenoff. With Gus' expert machinations, what's that say? Catherine's right to see her own children was restricted 3.5 years ago to supervised visits, which take no visits at all. Oh, shit. Sorry, did I swear? For his service, Gus received more than $2 million from Alan, Catherine claimed. On May 27th, Catherine wrote a Facebook post stating her intention to end her life in an assisted suicide facility in Switzerland that day. In response to media coverage of Catherine's post, Gus issued a statement claiming Catherine might have lied about her planned suicide. So they're trying to say that, she didn't even kill herself. They were trying to smear her, saying that was a big lie too. So I'm going to go back to the other stuff though, because we can come back. In 2019, at some point, Alan and his lawyers changed their strategy, and Alan filed for divorce. He goes for full custody, and the forensic evaluator that works with Alan's lawyer and the children's lawyer diagnoses her as mentally ill, although the disorder is unspecified. So they don't give an actual diagnosis. These people are saying, she's mentally ill, but there's no actual doctor diagnosing her from what I'm understanding in all this. Mentally ill from being abused, maybe, I don't know, mentally lost it. But so Judge Daybell, personal friends with a forensic evaluator, sides with Alan's team, and Catherine lost custody of her children. So she starts fighting back. She tries to expose the corruption, and she's been labeled as crazy and dangerous, and she's not but once a judge rubber stamps an expert. It's hard to undo. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, sorry, that was a note. So, she basically, the judge was like, you're crazy. How are you going to undo that? Once the judge actually puts that out there, rubber stamps it, you're labeled as crazy, you're a crazy lady. How is she going to backpedal that? So from 2020 to 2023, Alan had the court convinced that Catherine is the problem. He and his lawyer are able to convince judges to allow a series of ex parte hearings where that Catherine's not at these hearings, right? They're ex parte hearings. And Alan is granted one temporary order of protection after protection against her where she can't see her children. And one of them forces her to move out of her apartment because it was too close to the family home. So she got an apartment locally, and one of the orders said she was living too close to them. So she had to leave her apartment too and move out. So it's just horrible. Alan just kept using the system against her. She writes Alan an email saying, this is not a threat. I'm writing you an email. This is not a threat. But Alan makes a police report claiming he feels threatened. And that was dismissed. No action taken. Then she receives 2 checks from Alan for $10,000 each. She deposited them. And then he accuses her of changing the date on the check and depositing the same check twice, which literally is impossible to do. So I don't even know how he would even accuse her of that. But I guess she decided, you know what, I'm just going to go back that one of the $10,000 and call it a night. But he still makes a police report for check fraud. That was dismissed as well. No action taken. In September of 21, through December, Alan attempts to have her arrested 3 times. In January of 2022, he actually succeeds and has her arrested. He convinced 4 police officers, they were armed police officers, that she violated a temporary order of protection, which she hadn't. And in her Dropbox, there's documents to prove all of this. So she is handcuffed in front of her children, and Alan allegedly was laughing while this was going on in front of the children. Even though the charges were dismissed in March as a false arrest, the U.S. Attorney's Office did not rehire her. She was done, ruined her career right there. So her reputation was done, ruined. So March of 2023, now we're up to this year. This is just a few months ago. We're in July. So March of 2023, there was another hearing. Catherine loses custody again. Her visitation is canceled. And this is 3+ years of temporary protection orders that had made estrangement the norm for her children. Like, they are estranged from her over and over and over again. And it's used against her as let's keep things stable, and it continues. So children began to call her Catherine instead of Mom. And they say they hate Christmas at this point. But Alan is Jewish, so he doesn't celebrate Christmas. But she's not. She was raised Christian. So he's already even putting the kids against her, allegedly, that anything that their mom enjoys, their mom believes in, their mom, is just wrong. So it's just signs, he was being so negative towards anything about her. In March 19th, 2023, Alan sends Catherine an email blaming her for ruining the family financially and promises he will continue to fight her until he dies. You thought that kids defended her? I think they were in some of those earlier videos, but this is up to now, where he's had control of the kids. He's had custody of the kids. He's been in the kids' heads. He's got his new girlfriend. She's being pushed away. They have full access to the kids. She barely gets to see them. So it became really a mess. And you can see that's probably why at this point she had given up hope. They were defending her in those videos, but those were from 2019? Those were several years ago. So March, April 2023, her mother actually helps her buy a house. And so this is just this past April, right? So she buys a new house, she decorates it, and she makes it so that the kids would have a place to sleep there, rooms for the girls, hoping it will help her in her custody battle to get them at least part of the time. But somewhere in there, in that period of time, she's diagnosed with cancer for the 3rd time. And so that's in April. So then by May, 2 months ago, May 27th, 2023, Catherine chooses to die in Switzerland. She gives the executor access to her Dropbox and makes now a well-known Facebook post saying goodbye, asking others to tell her story and help fix the family court system that favors the rich. So let me find her Facebook post here. So here's her Facebook post. I'll share that with you. Dear friends, family, and supporters, it was with profound heartbreak that I hope none of you ever experienced that I am writing my last post ever. Today, I will be ending my own life. I will be doing so in a dignified and idyllic setting in Europe. There are simply no other options left. In the last 4 years of my life, I had woken up every day to a nightmare like no other. I can no longer endure the abuse and terror of Alan Kassenoff, who has spent the last 4 years mercilessly trying to incarcerate me on false charges as recently as March of 2023. I've also endured the emotional devastation of being without my children for so long, homeless from Alan's repeated ex parte evictions of me from the homes I owned and rented, deprivation of my property, and obliteration of my life savings, the loss of my 2 dogs, the loss of my career and reputation, and the concomitant humiliation and ostracism from all this. Perhaps if I had the physical endurance to keep going, I would, but with a new terminal health issue that will soon be severely limiting my physical strength as well, and with no protection from our courts, I cannot keep running from Alan. I was recently diagnosed with a virulent and life-ending cancer. After having breast cancer twice in my life already, I cannot go through debilitating chemo, surgeries, and radiation again. This time with a dire prognosis and with Alan fighting me until he dies, and no court intervention whatsoever. Those were exact words to me in an email he sent to me on March 19th, 2023. See Dropbox link below. So she left her Dropbox link here. I lost my place again. So please understand why I did not share this news widely. If Alan had known about my health issues, he surely would have tried that much harder to end my existence. As many of you know, on January 26, 2022, I was falsely arrested on serial reports made by Alan Kassenoff in October 2021, December 21, and then on January 25th, 2022. After I proclaimed my innocence and fought these allegations, I won. On March 16th, 2022, all his bogus charges were dropped and his bogus ex parte orders of protection were vacated. He claims for contempt seeking my incarceration were also dismissed with prejudice. So this is her Facebook. This is her Facebook. And here's the GoFundMe. I think Palin put it in the thing. It's her friend. And she talks about it in the GoFundMe if you want to read the GoFundMe. Where she adopted the one girl and how much, they would like to save make this money for the kids. And it's all lined out. Like it's going to go into a trust. They aren't just going to get it. They'll get it as adults. It's all in there. So you can look at this if you want, but this just goes on her. There's people really tagging her and putting stuff on her wall now about what's going on. Lawyers say Catherine Kassenoff's case and thousands of others violate U.S. So, this is a thing. This is a thing. Money and power speak. And it's truly scary and sad. So she wants people to tell her story, and that's why we decided to do it here. We've been kind of talking about it in Discord, and PLM really dug into the drop boxes for us and looked all this up. And it's just, there's a lot in there. If anybody wants to look at her Dropbox, it's out there. You can. In June of 2023, the viral videos of Alan Kassenoff's verbal abuse of her and the kids began to appear on social media sites. That's when last month when the Rob Harvey put that out, and other people have been talking about it. July 13th, so last week, Ms. Magazine obtained a U.S. State Department's report of death confirming that Kassenoff died in Listau, Switzerland on May 27th. Her ashes are in the custody of the executor of her estate. So her Dropbox, it shares all these documents. She created it. She put it all in there. She had this documented. And she wanted to leave as much hard evidence behind as she could, hopefully to show how hard she fought against the false narrative that was created about her by Alan Kassenoff's legal team. She predicted that she would continue to be smeared after her death, and she is. She's smeared. His law firm actually asked him to resign, and he did. So he is no longer with his law firm. Let's see, we can present this. So Alan Kassenoff, Greenberg Triog scrubs Alan Kassenoff from website. So Catherine Kassenoff announced her assisted suicide on May 27th, blaming her husband, Alan Kassenoff. The subsequent publicity falling out beginning on the Frank report caused Alan to take a voluntary leave of absence from his law firm. And on June 2nd, according to the firm's website, Alan specialized in patent infringement lawsuits and was a shareholder, which is GT's term for partner in the firm. Until yesterday, GT kept Kassenoff's page with his photo and biography on their website, stating he took a leave of absence. They have now removed his photo and biography from their website. His page for Kassenoff now reads page not found. The page requested on the Greenberg Triog website could not be found. So he's gone from his, they were over the publicity, thankfully, but a little too late for Catherine, right? And then I don't know if there's any pictures of what their house looked like from before they bought it, but the daughters right now are living with their father and his girlfriend in a new home. They do not live in the Kassenoff, Catherine and Alan's house. But there's a picture here that found that is what their house looks like now. It just looks so abandoned and sad. So their house looks a little bit overgrown, not taken care of. Oh, good point. COVID also made it worse because the backlog in court meant these ex parte temporary orders of protection that were meant to be 2 to 3 days long in place for over a year. Yes, that is true. COVID shut everything down in the middle of all that too. It's hard. So, her Dropbox has a lot of stuff in it. There's Alan's attempt to arrest me and his abuse. There's 12 files on that. She has proof of how her arrests were dismissed. Shows how Alan's strategy unfolded over time. He takes advantage of every opportunity to call the police every time he could. Did you hear the kids in that video? The police are going to come. So that was probably a thing that they had happen more than a few times. There are multiple police reports against her, and they all were dismissed. Carol Most removed, corrupt attorney for the children. So 20 files on her. Invoices show how much money Carol made, the children's attorney, $200,000. Documents Carol Most's bias, her professional connection to Mark Abrams. The Most transcripts contain info about one of the daughters including her well-documented conduct disorder and pathological lying and stealing. And no, PLM, you said something about HIPAA, but that wouldn't be a HIPAA violation. HIPAA only pertains to medical people getting into and sharing information that they are not privy to. So like if I went in a chart right now and put it out here, that would be a HIPAA violation. But Catherine putting it out here isn't considered a HIPAA violation. That's my understanding of it, because we have to do this HIPAA training all the time, once a year, and they make you go through all these little like things about, is this a HIPAA violation? Is this HIPAA? So my understanding is it pertains to medical people that have reasons to be in a medical chart, that maybe get in there when they don't have reasons and they share it. Like if I'm working in a hospital and I find some like a famous celebrity and I like pull up their chart and look at it, but I'm not the one taking care of them, that's a HIPAA violation. Hi, Emily. 200K is pretty high for a court-appointed lawyer unless you're talking a death penalty or murder case. Yeah, for sure. It's a lot. Children's emails and texts. There's 12 files, personal emails, proof from the kids that Alan was saying abusive things to them. Plus, he left them alone one night and his girlfriend stayed at the house while Catherine, was evicted. One kid asked Catherine why, when she told Carol Most she missed mommy, Most told her mom is dangerous. So the kid's attorney actually told the kids that Catherine is dangerous. Oh, there's a lot of brainwashing going on to the poor kids as well. Oh, she wasn't the kid's lawyer. Oh, she was. Wait a minute. And she was the children's lawyer. They had their own. Yes, that's what I thought. Okay, sorry. My heart is so heavy for the children. Family court worked against them. So sad. So one of the kids said, I miss mommy. And their lawyer, Most, said, oh, your mom's dangerous. There's children's videos in there. There's a video in her Dropbox of her having a meal with the kids at a restaurant. And then there's court transcripts. There's 23 transcripts from September 2019 to April 2023. Hundreds of pages. Catherine felt things were biased against her. Sometimes this feels true. Plus, repeated examples of Alan using the tools of family court against Catherine. Is he better at working the system? Must be. And he had more people on his side. CPS by September 2019. Alan had an ex parte hearing and Catherine can only visit the children in their home under supervision. The current nanny was O'Reilly, and the children have told their attorney, Carol Most, they love O'Reilly. As early as the September 2019 transcript, Alan's attorneys are trying to get rid of her. They call her Team Catherine in court. So that person, Team Catherine, get out. Eventually, CPS makes a late night visit to the house and discovers Catherine was awake and O'Reilly was sleeping. And O'Reilly was not allowed to let Catherine alone with the children even for a minute. So that nanny gets fired. She's supposed to have hawk eyes on Catherine and the kids at all times. The lawyers say, the potential to let Catherine alone with the children even for a minute. The lawyers sorry, my eyeballs. The lawyers cite potential for Catherine to be unsupervised. The nanny gets fired. Catherine herself eventually gets kicked out of her own home as a danger to others in another ex parte order. She's given 20 minutes to pack a suitcase and get out. Then for months, it's never convenient for Alan to arrange a time for her to get her clothes. They talk about this in court, and the judge is impatient with her. Also, these transcripts contain a lot of confidential information about the children's emotional health. But the Dropbox has proof that one of the daughters has significant psychological problems. So imagine though, I would too. If this was my parents, oh my gosh, can you imagine this is going on in your house on a daily basis, this fight over everything and the abuse? It's awful. Then there's the 2 files for the Dimopoulos. That's Alan's attorney. That alleged misconduct was documented. One file included 52-page complaint about the corruption of their neutral team, exposing Judge Lubell's close ties to the forensic evaluator. Oh yeah, that's a good question. Did Alan have cameras in the house? How did CPS know to do a raid when Aurelie, I already forgot how to say her name, was asleep? Good question, huh? There's also some videos, and I saw one, let me see if I can pull it up, of she's with the kids at the ice skating rink and he's there confronting. So officers handcuffed her at one point in front of the children. It's just a mess. It's just a hot mess. Let's see. Let me see what this one is. Oh yeah, here we go. So hold on. I gotta share again. To rewind. Let me share this with you. This is the ice rink.
Get away from me. You're gonna give me the finger again? Get away from me. The children don't want you. Get away from me. Get away from me. I'm gonna get temporary protection against you. I'm gonna go report the. You go ahead. Whatever you think is necessary.
What does this new woman? They always get a new woman because the narcissists are really good at sucking you in, honeymoon phase, telling you how great you are, making all these promises, how wonderful you are, and then they start showing their true colors, and by that time you're already jacked up in the head, so you remember the good times. There's a lot of information. There's some really good books on that. One of the best books that I read is called Why Does He Do That? Inside the Mind of Angry and Controlling Men. And when you read it and you look at that stuff, if you've ever known one, you are like, oh my gosh, that, like, they went to college and they got 4.0 plus GPA, graduated with honors in how to do this. It's unbelievable. So they always get another one. They get another one, and they have affairs and people fall for all their bullshit. It's just a thing. And that's what happens. And those of us that have gotten wrapped up with a narcissist, you don't even know it's happening until it's happened. And then you still want to make things work because you're all trauma bonded. So it's a mess. Let's see. She took her own life, meaning she gave up her children. She gave up on the living God. Her story is over. Hopeless to even talk about it. Now, what is the point? I'm sorry, she finished it cowardly. Well, yeah, that's an opinion. But she also had her 3rd cancer diagnosis. And if you've ever gone through radiation, chemotherapy, and you have no support system, you've lost your children, maybe it is just better to go. You need support and you need hope when you're dying of cancer. Obviously, it was a pretty severe. And she even says in there, if she didn't have the cancer diagnosis, maybe she would have been able to continue, but she was just too weak at that point to do it. 3rd cancer diagnosis. Like, girl, this girl's been through chemo, been through radiation, been through surgeries, in her young life, been through hell. Just that alone, even people, I've worked hospice as a nurse before, even people that have wonderful support system around them, they get a 3rd cancer diagnosis and they're just done. They're tired, they're done. It's really hard. So, but I do appreciate your comment because it's always good to look at all sides of things. But that's my opinion of this. If she was a perfectly healthy woman and she just had this battle going on and finances were okay and she wasn't sick and dying with cancer, then yeah, okay, I'm going to kill myself like a victim. But no, I think it was a lot more deeper than that, a lot deeper than that. I think the cancer diagnosis was what really threw her over the edge. And it was the third cancer diagnosis. If it would have been her first, she might have had the wherewithal to fight. I think. I don't know her, but I think that that's probably the biggest part of it. I'm looking at your comments. So, so that, you know, when she got fired, but it was a mess. Like, she lost her career. She lost everything. She has testimonies from witnesses about stuff, but he was winning. He was really winning. Nobody can ever say what they do in these situations until they're actually in it. You can say, oh, I do this or never do that, but nobody can know until how they handle these situations. Yeah, exactly. And exactly, Lori, the abuse could have helped the cancer come back. When your cortisol levels are up and you're always in this state of fight or flight, your immune system is, you're not going to be able to fight things like cancer. Your body is going to give up. People get sick when they're stressed. They get really sick, like terminal illnesses and stuff happen. So there's a lot to say about mind and being surrounding with positive things and good things too. Maybe if the U.S. had universal health care, it would have been less stressful to get cancer a third time. I don't think that's really it. I'm sure she could afford. I'm sure she had excellent insurance. Anybody that works in corporate America has great insurance, you know. So I don't think that had anything to do with it, really. It's not. I'm sure it wasn't the insurance thing. I don't think it would be. We have excellent medical care here, and I don't think the finances, they were already so financially done, and her mom helped her buy her house and stuff. So let's see. A corrupt forensic evaluator. His name is Mark T. Abrams. There's some big files on him. The Dropbox has evidence that Mark was disgraced and fired for being sexually inappropriate with women. Also evidence he had given Dimopoulos clients results like mental illness, parental alienation diagnoses before. So like he's the doctor. Not only were there connections and friendships between Mark Allen and Dimopoulos and two judges, but one of the judges, Daybell, married Mark. Her Dropbox suggests he didn't recuse himself until Catherine submitted evidence they were friends. And here's a photo. Judge Daybell married Mark. Let me show you that. Attorney Gus Dimopoulos donated thousands to Judge Daybell while he represented Alan Kassenoff. So they were buddies. Catherine has her medical records in there. There's 10 files starting in October of 2017. There's email evidence that she was being criticized by Alan during her chemo, and many expert opinions that she was not mentally ill. One day they will. I'm very proud of her doing the Dropbox. He got away with abuse too long because of his connections. Yep. And this is like a big, see you, Alan. Here's all the proof. Let the world have at it, right? Yeah. She was on a mission, I think, really, truly. And this really was about her kids, I believe. this is the proof. She couldn't talk to them. She couldn't explain to them. They're still fairly young. Someday they're going to be able to go through all this stuff and be like, yeah, no, my dad put her, wow, because it's all there in this Dropbox. There's 24 videos, 4 PDFs, includes taunts, song about being a dead duck, numerous abusive rants. Friends and neighbors submit written statements about Alan's temper. One young girl called her parents to pick her up from a sleepover, terrified. So Alan was a hothead. And then obviously these videos have gone viral. Violin and Christmas videos, things she brought into the children's life that they enjoyed that Alan allegedly shamed and canceled, visitation videos, video to document what did and didn't happen in visits. So there's also these people were very powerful, highly educated, articulate New Yorkers, big time attorney firm. So, what Catherine was doing, she's destroyed their reputations, if you believe her Dropbox. And it looks pretty well documented, very well documented. So Alan put money above his children, and he was just angry at her. And people do that. They use their children as pawns in divorces, and it's awful. There's been attacks on Catherine. For a month and a half, trolls began spreading rumors that she was still alive, faked her suicide in articles. So if you search her name, there's websites that come up. Like, let me go to it first. So this one, court-appointed referee of 2 years filed grievance against Catherine Kassenoff for harassment and threats. So this is the other side, smearing her after she's gone because of the videos that have come out, right? In order to look at the other side of it, I suppose. This says, I became very uncomfortable having conferences with counsel and Mrs. Kassenoff without Judge Koba and a court reporter being present. Prior to my involvement in the divorce proceeding, Ms. Kassenoff was granted supervised access with her 3 minor daughters by Judge Everett. This access was continued by Judge Kopa after an interim custody hearing in which Catherine Kassenoff was diagnosed as having a personality disorder with narcissistic traits. During the entire 2-year period of my involvement in Kassenoff versus Kassenoff, Ms. Kassenoff's supervised access with her daughters continued. So this is like the other side. During the 2-year period during which I was assigned to the Kassenoff divorce to assist Judge Koba, I received several emails from Ms. Kassenoff, which I consider threatening. I became very frightened at the threat and content contained in Ms. Kassenoff's email and became very concerned for my safety. I was also concerned for my safety that I felt compelled to file a police report. So Team Allen people who have, they have their way of looking at things. Eyewitness account of troubling Catherine Kassenoff visitation scene. I'm still working through all the documents I've been receiving through the tips at KassenoffFacts.com email. Thanks to everyone who's sending over documents. Website's getting attention. And then there's this one I felt was kind of interesting and and obviously they're going to pick and choose because that's what each side's going to do. But when you start listening to this audio here, it sounds like she's losing her mind in this one, which is probably something that happens when you're being abused. But he sounds extremely patient. So who was recording this? Like, were they both recording each other at different times? Like, she was recording when she was calm, and he was recording when he was calm, and she was up in arms. Play the beginning of this real quick. Apparently, they had a fight. And physical fight. Let me know if you can't hear this, okay?
You bit my nail back so
I
bad.
didn't touch your nail.
Bleeding.
Please just go to sleep.
My nail got bent back so bad.
Okay,
It's
I'm
bleeding.
sorry. Well, let's put a Band-Aid on and then lie.
It's hurting me. My whole body's hurting
Okay.
me from that fucking fight.
Relax.
I got my neck is cracked. What's wrong?
That drawer shouldn't be sticking out. We're in agreement.
It's
Okay.
bleeding.
Okay, relax.
It hurts.
I
I can't fix it. It's
do
bleeding.
you need to go to
How would you feel if your nail were doing
I
that?
don't know. Do you
And
need-
I only wanted to sleep this morning.
And I
That's all
said-
I wanted.
I said
now
100
I gotta get up. I gotta feed a baby.
I will take care of you.
I've got bone milk.
I will get you the
This is not who it doesn't.
I agree. Please just Catherine, please relax. Please relax.
I was a good
Catherine.
man.
Catherine, please relax. I'm begging you. I will take the kids. I said it 100 times. I will leave the house with them if you want. I will leave the house if you want with them.
Get out of my life.
I will do that on Monday. I'm asking for you to lie down now if you're tired. I will get you a Band-Aid.
It's not a Band-Aid.
What will help?
The nail has to be cut off.
Okay, so then cut the nail
I
off.
don't have scissors.
Okay,
Fucking
I will
jack.
relax. Relax. We're
My little girls are supposed to be angels. My girls were never supposed to listen to me like that.
Catherine, I'm begging you, please go to sleep.
My beautiful girls, I just want them to live with.
I'm sorry. Please, let's go to sleep. I will leave with the girls.
They were so beautiful, now they're so damaged.
They'll be fine. As soon we'll get divorced and everything will be fine. Okay? Nothing's wrong with them. They're babies still.
Beautiful.
Why don't you please just go to sleep? I will take the girls out if you want, and we'll come back whenever you tell me.
I wanted to talk with my kids, and instead I fight for sleep.
Go to sleep. I'm begging you. You're not fighting for sleep. I'm begging you to go to
You're
sleep.
leaving me.
Relax. Relax. I'm begging you to go to sleep. Okay? I'm gonna get my clothing so I can take the kids out.
Cut this fucking nail off. I don't even have scissors. I gotta put my scissors.
I will find you scissors. Relax.
So that it looks like that's like a whole 39 minutes, so we can't do that, but it's there too. You can go back and listen to it if you'd like. I haven't heard the whole thing. It's just sad. Then there's some other waitress letter. As I said, I'm working through a lot of documents. I received this email from a waitress at a restaurant that the children and nanny frequented during the supervised visits. Thought I'd share it here because I felt like this was someone who had no skin in the game from either side. I thought these observations were interesting and felt to me that it was someone who felt compelled to stand up for the children. I'm a waitress at a restaurant in Hudson Valley. Alan Kay's children were in the restaurant every week and would have had to sit and wait for hours as they each visited their mother separately, seemingly due to their mother not wanting the three children to be in front of her together because the girls ganged up on her. According to what the girls have said, the three girls would have spent hours waiting for each other's visits and missed practices, etc., because it's so far from home. The girls said that they hated their mother constantly and more often than not came back from visits crying. They always asked for their dad and wanted the visits to be over. Catherine came in and made a scene one time when the three girls didn't want to sit on the same side of the booth as their mother and instead sat together on the other side of the table. After almost no time at all, the girls got up and stormed outside. Their mother followed them and proceeded to make a scene and upset the girls further. So one of the girls ran away while the other two girls ran to the bathroom to get away from her and cry. Their mother proceeded to follow them into the bathroom and scream at them to get out loud enough for the entire restaurant to hear, to the point where the manager had to go in the bathroom and make Catherine stop. After she finally left, their father came in and they all happily came out and went home with him. So Catherine had exposed her children to so many things that children shouldn't know about by putting so much Facebook publicity, embarrassing and upsetting them all deeply. She gave the girls gifts every time they went to visit, but it seems as though there were bribes. She only used to try to get the girls' love. Unfortunately, not a single visit ever went by without some sort of trouble And it seems that sorry, my phone was ringing. And it seems that the ones who really suffered through this were the 3 girls. I also want to add that I've seen all the videos going around online, and all of them seem to be from a long time ago and are not current or even accurate depictions of the way these girls were treated by their father. Listening to 3 girls talk about their mother made me so upset for them. It was obvious that they all just wanted this experience to end and continue living with their father. But at that point, they were completely brainwashed too. It's just a mess, It's just a mess. So both Catherine and Alan allegedly had affairs. He is the one who is alleged to be a serial cheater, to have allegedly suggested an open marriage, and who was documented caught having sex in the children's playroom by one of the daughters while Catherine was still alive. Catherine treated adopted child more harshly than the bio, yes, but without violating HIPAA. Documents in the Dropbox provided the adopted child had issues. So that was the adopted child that had, okay. Catherine went through 18 lawyers, and her Dropbox was an email from one of the lawyers who quit. It was sent to him from Alan Kassenoff. As soon as Alan learned his name, Alan contacted him and asked why he was working for Catherine when she had left their last lawyers unpaid. The lawyer quit, but quietly sent her the email, so she knew why. Catherine lied about being penniless. Her Dropbox documents her expenses through the divorce. She spent everything she had on custody issues. Alan could outspend her. Her mother provided the funds to buy the house in March, April this year. Switzerland shaming. She was terminally ill. She had a choice to go away quietly or go away with a voice. She chose to make her death mean something. Catherine's Switzerland choice, cruel to her children. Again, Catherine's reasoning was that she tried every way she could to get her children away from him and failed. The court cut off all visitation, so she was going to die apart from the children without contact anyway. Robbie Harvey seems to be also under siege by that video, Robbie Harvey, that did that initial video and put it out there. People are attacking him, pro Alan, social media trolls, attacks on his character and sincerity. So there's sources. So all this came from her report, and it's really all out there. It's just a mess, but it's really sad. And I think the biggest takeaway from all this is to realize that, money and power can really hurt people and children in a divorce, and the children need to be put first. Like, if you don't want to be together, don't put your children in the middle of this. But people get really passionate and really upset. And this is one of the most horrible examples ever of how it can go down. So anything else that you guys wanted to cover real quick? I am probably not going to be doing a live stream next week. I'll let you know next Saturday. We're literally like 4 weeks away from my trip, and I got some stuff going on that I got to get caught up on and get the dogs all situated and everything so that I can go. I'm going to be gone from September 4th through the night, back on the 20th. I think I get home on the 20th. And then I put out the last episode of Afterglow for season 2. And I'm not going to do another episode of Afterglow until after I get back from my vacation. And then what else is happening? Lori Vallow sentencing is this week. Does anybody know if it is going to be televised? Are they going to stream it at all? I didn't catch that yet, if Lori's going to be streamed and when. It'd be good to pop on and talk about that once she gets her sentence. Talk about it. Maybe we'll do that next week a little bit, just a quick live stream to talk about that. Are you going to maybe try to live stream from Greece? That was, on my travel channel, I have memberships now, but I haven't really put them out there. But I was thinking for members, I could do a live stream from Greece, and I could probably do the members here too with that. So that would be kind of cool to do. Although, I don't know, my time zone, Greece is 10 hours ahead. So it'll be a weird time, but not for everybody. Be probably a good time for Ruby Ray there. Okay. Seating is first come. Oh, Lori, we could spend another morning sitting out on the stairs at 5 a.m. of the court and go. I wish, but I can't go. I'd love to, though. And then what else was I going to talk about? The whole thing with Zab Girl and the Gannon. I really haven't said anything about it. I think, it was poor choice. She did apologize, but I don't want to be one of the other channels that are, going after another YouTuber. She made a bad decision and it bit her in the butt, truly. So I'm not going to attack her on that, but it's really easy to get caught up in the YouTube world and be the first and the biggest and get the most views and get the most clicks and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I think is kind of a shame, that a lot of people just go over the same cases over and over and over and not look at some other cases that deserve attention. And then I think that's it. Was there any other cases out there? Oh, what's her face? The nursing student that faked her disappearance last week. Carly, what's her name? Oh my God, what a story that is. Holy cow, girl. Holy cowgirl. I mean, talk about dumb. I'm glad she probably could never pass the NCLEX. As dumb as she was committing her crime, Googling everything. She, Chat GPT passed the bar, but can't pass the NCLEX, which the NCLEX is the nursing exam, the RN, National Nursing, like to get your nursing license. So, she probably good. Carly Russell. Yeah, Carly Russell. Oh my God, what a story that one is. I put it in Discord today, Dr. Grande. I like him. He is just the straight face, but his sense of humor is hilarious. So he did a whole thing on it. But I think Carly should be charged. I think she wasted resources. People donated money, like a lot of money, not to her family, but to the cause of searching for her. 911 resources, police taking them, that's expensive. And for her, why? I still don't understand why she faked her own kidnapping, but I'm pretty sure she did. I mean, it just looks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's pretty much a duck. And then what really got me was when on the press conference, when they said that she was slowly taking her car down the interstate and she went 6 football fields, supposedly following this child. And the guy with the orange hair, and they didn't tie her up because they didn't want to leave marks, but they took her clothes off except for her socks, where she had like $160 or something in her socks. Like, the story's just so freaking crazy. Sherry Papini got 18 months in jail. How did she get away without the cameras showing what happened? And they didn't see a toddler or anything on the interstate. Like, they have the cameras up there. They got her on federal mail charges. Oh, yeah. See, so fake kidnapping, weird. People are so crazy. Why would you do that? Now she messed up her livelihood. If she was in nursing school, she'll never be able to go to nursing school. But we don't need her. We don't need that kind of person amongst us nurses, for sure. All right, so it is long, over an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great Saturday. Stay safe and well. And I appreciate you all. Thank you, PLM, for helping me do some research and getting this up here for me. That's what I was like. I asked some of the people that are my members in my Discord if they would be willing to maybe do some background research and sort of put some notes and give me some links so I can bring you more live streams and more cases to you, because my time it's hard for me to do the research all the time. Like, I hear about the cases, I can look into them a little bit, but with my full-time job and everything else, my mom, and Lori asked how my mom's doing. She's better. She decided not to move out. she talks about it like it was an actual thing, like she really was moving, but she had nowhere to go. So she's doing okay right now. It's just weird. She has these weird, like crazy moments where I am her enemy. It's just the weirdest thing. Obviously, there's some sort of elderly brain dementia or something going on there. Canceled her doctor appointment, changed her insurance, put all this extra work on me. So, thank you, everybody. And thanks, everybody that stuck around to listen to this. And if you do want to learn more about Catherine Kassenoff, go for it. All those sources are there, her Dropbox, everything. I really appreciate it. All right. I will see you guys in Discord if you're in there. If anybody wants to be in there and needs the link, somebody maybe put the link to Discord in the chat, invite link, because that's where we spend a lot of time, more so than my live streams. We spend time in there talking about cases, learning about new ones, putting up a new one, telling each other about new case, this case, that case. Did you hear this? So you're welcome to join us, please. All right. Stay safe and well. I will see you soon. Bye.